Good evening, everybody, and I mean that literally. Now, I'm just a simple man, and my name is Noah Foster, and welcome to another edition of 205 Live Matters. Today, we will be discussing this week's episode 205 Live, where Survivor Series came early with the Captain's Challenge match that turned out to be a 10-man elimination tag, as well as some simple stances in the next match on our list. But before all that, allow me, of course, to introduce you to my co-host. He is a family man. He is a hard-working citizen. He's just like me, a simple wrestling fan of his own degree, very knowledgeable, can easily beat me in trivia contests. I can't wait for Wrestling Trivia Challenge Season 7, I believe it is, or 8. But anyway, going off topic, it's of course my good friend here, the holiday, Mr. Christopher Mace. Chris, how are you?
Oh, doing good. Family's doing good. Had a rough day at work, but the ending went great. So I get to do this show with you tonight. I'm glad you're feeling better from yesterday, and time to
Yeah.
talk about 205 Live.
Well, at least my smile is definitely in better order. And
Yeah.
yeah, 8 hours in a dentist chair under laughing gas, getting 5 fillings, a root canal, and 3 temporary crowns was not fun. What a way to spend my day. But hey, I gotta ask him afterwards and sleep, so I'm good. But I digress. So again, apologies, folks, but this is a day of light. Jeez, that just sounds southern. A day of light. Anyway. So yeah, we get right into this week's episode and waste no time. I mean, we literally go in and Drew Gulak and Only Lorcan, they hype up their teams. Drew Gulak saying his team is found on one word, the definition of change. Arya bringing in his inner rage and being a confident comedite. Mike, of course, being diabolical. Angel Gaza getting that spotlight. And these and others have called him, including Gulak, excuse me, the next great cruiserweight. And of course, Tony Nese, who says because Gulak and him have so much history, his niece willing to make the same sacrifice that I did. Because until you are able to, I am the law. Then Oni, much more simpler, literally.
Yeah.
Humberto got pimples, Swerve got confidence, Akira has stamina, and Jack has manners, such as me. And we go right into it because both men in this for one thing: dominance. And I mean, what else can you say? This was literally our show. This entire match was the show with a little bit of build up that we'll talk about as we get to it. So, uh, first off, before we get into this match, good brother Chris, I'm going to ask you as I put it out: were you Team Oni or Team Drew Gulak? What was your team to win this?
I don't know. I think I should message Good Brother Chris. And so he asked Good Brother Chris. I better message him real quick. He said the J Cup, remember?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you just, but it's okay. But I thought that I was for Team Lorcan. I thought this would be a great way for Lorcan to build some momentum and try to get back in the title picture. But I was very intrigued with how this match played out.
yeah, no kidding. And with that, we get right into the match after the men all come out for their teams respectively, and then the captain leads all the men in the ring. But Gulak, with the death stare, literally just drives his men into Team Only's team. And we literally get our first spot of the night out of nowhere, led by Jack Gallagher, a four-corner Poppins bomb, and Team Lorcan
Hmm.
controls the ring prior to the bell. The bell finally rings, and we get the captain starting off, and then we get Swerve and Gulak coming into play. And again, interesting dynamic where the past meets present, where student meets teacher. And then we get the cousins. That was really the story for me in this match. Korea and Gaza. I've been waiting for this one-on-one encounter. Pants came off, not as cool as Taiji. Handshake advantage though. He's like, shake my hand, we're cousins. Fools them, and then we basically get Team Gulak getting control here. But Nice being indifferent here, he still refuses to fall to Gulak's ways. He steps away from the corner attack. Akira comes in like a hellfire, gets a super kick, and stacks 3 men while he takes out Gulak with a running senton bomb. And then we get basically our first elimination, ironically, where Akira is inadvertently thrown into Jack Gallagher, and Mike Kanellis takes advantage and eliminates Akira with what we're calling Love Hurts. Following this, Mike is ecstatic with himself. He yells at Maria. Maria seems happy, but what happens behind his back? Boom. Then Killian headbutt. Jack eliminates Mike Kanellis and Maria. But then Nice comes into play, and he gets a sunset driver and eliminates Jack, which leads us to our first setup of next week. And now, excuse me, both teams are tied, I believe, at this point now at no, that's not right. It's 3-4. Excuse me. And we go backstage. We're like, tell me what happened. Tell me what happened. Basically, Lee Ryan Kennedy says it was Jack's fault, and then Jack's like, hey, did you not see what happened last week? Your buddy, he pulled my foot off the bottom rope. And Akira's like playing dumb, like, what? Akira is the dumb guy here. He has no idea what's going on, but apparently we get the
Hmm.
setup for V. Brian Kendrick and Jack Gallagher next week. I really feel like here it's V. Brian Kendrick going heel again or trying to turn Akira heel, thus rehashing the whole student prodigy storyline. So before I go any further, and maybe you can talk more about the match coming up, what was your thoughts so far on the eliminations that occurred and the setup for next week?
It was doing good so far. I thought the match was playing out the way I would want it to so far. I didn't think Tozawa would be in there too long. I said the gentleman's already pretty much established, so it didn't surprise me he was eliminated early either. But also, I liked how they did the little segment here where they segued away during the slow parts of the match so they could keep trying to integrate and tell a story, set up stuff for next week, which pretty much was one show of one match. So they had to do something creative. So they did kind of the backstage thing. The only criticism I have with it after the end of the match, what I would have done is after the end of the match, I would have gone backstage. I would have had somebody backstage want to talk to the team members that are backstage. Like, how do you feel about your team winning? Then you could have had some interaction between everybody to set up stuff. But other than that, like I said, like I said, we complain about it during the pre-shows for the WWE events. We complain about it during when they do that stuff on the pre-show. So I can't give 205 Live a pass on that when I complain about it on the pre-show.
Well, there you go. Yeah, and the match continued. What was interesting is these little segues to backstage or promoting. They all took part during pinnacle moments of this match. I think this match was probably like 10, 12 minutes in already. And then in this middle section of the match, we get intersections of Swerve showing how flexible and confident he is, hence his name. But then he gets the crap beat out of him as Team Gulak just controls the match, especially after Gaza slips the feet out from underneath Swerve via the apron pull. Garza with a super kick, then we get a reflex layup by Swerve. Swerve had a very impressive performance in my opinion, but it was all for naught with running knees. But Oni, playing the manipulator himself here, taking a page out of Gulak's book, blind tag goes for half and half, gets countered, knees with a double stomp. Then we get Oni and knees for a little while. And eventually, as they were jockeying for position, Sunset Driver, no. Can I have a half? No. Sunset Driver, no. Only Lorcan finally pulls off the half and half, and Tony Nese gets eliminated next. And only he wants one person, pulls out a Hulk Hogan, you, and basically calls out Gulak, but instead of Gulak, he gets Carrillo. Oh, no, sorry. He gets Garza. Or so he thought, because what do we get? Battle of the Cousins. I know it was really just one match, but this match right here was a telling of at least 3 matches, and definitely Carrillo and Garza was the most story-driven competitive match, in my opinion. When these two locked up, it was impressive, but of course this was all short-lived because Swerve gets a hot tag and beats the daylights out of everybody. There's jump-up kick, there's double stomps to Gulak, to Garza, and then Gulak, though, he gets advantage, though, thanks to Daivari. Cyclone Clash, Swerve is finally eliminated. I'm surprised Swerve went as far as the match as he did, but I'm glad he was able to do that. In my opinion, when I was looking at the lineups, I figured you were going to let, like, Nese, Sakura, and Mike be your earliest eliminations, because you're bringing in Garza and Swerve, who have not had that much experience in 205 Live, and then you have the captains, who you know were going to be in this match for a while, because this match was really created around them, and the constant feud for the Cruiserweight title. So, following that, though, Carrillo, he gets a nice super kick, lariat combination, though. That lariat, freaking Daivari, and freaking Nigel McGuinness worried about Garza's face, and Aiden Eagles worried about Carrillo's face. That was pretty entertaining. Gulak stares at Oni while he controls Carrillo dead center of the ring. Then Garza and Carrillo, they have a little bit of a tiff and collide with each other midsection first. And then Oni, this man was like a one freaking person army where he took out Gulak, Arya, and Garza constantly, no matter what they tried to do. He always kept the advantage. It wasn't until a super stiff right elbow to Gulak and thrown over the announce table where Gulak just had enough, it seemed. But clearly Gulak does what he wanted to do. He beats the daylights out of Oni Lorcan with the steel chair, getting himself disqualified, but he still puts in his team's favor because Oni is extremely vulnerable, which leads basically to Humberto Carrillo in a 2-on-1 situation, even though the match at this point was 2-2. But before that, we get a little bit of a tiff idea of what's next for Lucha House Party as we continue with the whodunit story for Grand Metro League. And basically, Kalisto said he's going to beat the truth out of Arya Daivari. So it looks like we're getting Kalisto versus Arya Daivari next week. And then, a little bit of shading. We get an NXT promo because NXT is going live to USA Network. next month. Congratulations to them.
Hmm.
Again, this match so far just kept on getting hot, but again, I like the integration here. It felt like they were taking like a main event approach, giving you like ideas of what's to come, not so much mentioning the past, but also promoting what's ahead. But it didn't overshadow what was going on necessarily in the ring. Because basically, this final part was just about Carrillo, Garza, Carrillo, Garza, Carrillo, Garza, and Daivari, of course, maintaining some control. It was about the cousins for most of it, and then Garza, he tried to pull every tight as he could, including feet on the ropes. Good thing the refs saw that. Carrillo gets caught in midair with a drop kick, though, and Garza thought he had him here with a super kick combination. Pure anger, though, and frustration. I can't pin my cousin. He goes for a splash. He misses it. We get missed on a drop kick. Corkscrew flash. Humberto. He wins it for the team. By the way, Aardvark was eliminated earlier by only Lorcan with a half and half. And in the
Hmm.
end, Team Lorcan stood tall, with your sole survivors being only Lorcan and Roberto Carrillo, which has to tell me Roberto Carrillo's got to be next for a title shot here, or Great Matters going to do only Lorcan versus Roberto Carrillo for the Cruiserweight title, number one contendership, to face Gulak at Clash of Champions. Again, an incredible match. It took the entirety of the show, 50 plus minutes, and I was overall impressed. Again, 205 Live has yet to get a special, but I feel like it does create its own specials with the way it interprets and recreates the ideas of Extreme Rules and Survivor Series, traditional tags, and stuff like that. So I'm wondering when they're just going to recreate the idea of a cage match at this point. Again, though, I mean, what can you say about this episode? It was one match, so I guess really, yeah, we're going to rate the match in the show, as we always do. This match was a telling story. It really showcased two bright, prominent faces for this brand that you definitely should look at going forward. And it continues the idea of only Lorcan being in the top picture against Drew Gulak, who's probably been his toughest adversary to date. But it also brings up the idea of Brother Carrillo. He might be ready. Although I honestly would love to see Andrew Garza versus Brother Carrillo one-on-one after this, because that was the biggest one-on-one encounter and story I saw in this match. I absolutely loved. But this match was great overall for me. I give it 4.25 out of 5. So, Chris, what's your thoughts again on what's to come next week? Who you face challenge for the title, and what would you grade this week's episode, 205 Live? Basically, this match.
I think they did a good way of setting up a couple matches for next week. I thought they did it well done. Like I said, how they did it. Like I said, my complaint was they should have done it towards the end after the match was over. They should have had somebody doing backstage interviews with them. Like I said, I can't give that a pass because if I'm going to complain about it on the pre-show, I'm not going to be a hypocrite and not complain about it if they do it on other shows. So I can't do that. So the match itself, I thought they did well, very well. How they did everything, how they had the elimination set up, I thought they did a pretty good job with that. I like the umbrella drop as all four of them did it at the beginning. I love that. There's a lot of stuff I did like, little things here and there, like when the heels were beating up. I don't remember who they're. I think it was either the gentleman or whoever they're beating up, and then Nisa had no part of it. He's like, I'm not having any part of this because he's the only one on a heel team that's a face.
Yeah,
So that was an interesting dynamic, but he was doing his part. I mean, he did eliminate the gentleman. He was doing his part, trying to help win the match and stuff. So I was thinking somewhere along the lines he would just walked out or maybe turned on Gulak or attack Gulak from behind. And I was hoping what I wanted to see happen was Nice attack Gulak and allow Lorcan to get a pinfall on Gulak. That's what I was hoping to happen. So that way they could have set up. At least they explained how Lorcan could have got a rematch, but that's not how it played out. Gulak got himself disqualified, which protected him, says he didn't have to take a pinfall or submission in the match. So that protected him doing the way they did with Gulak being disqualified. Like I said, who do I think is going to challenge him? I hope Lorcan does one more time. I want to see them go at it one more time. I don't think Roberto's ready yet. I've talked about this before in the past. They need to slow burn him and save him for like a WrestleMania to challenge for the Cruiserweight title, have his crowning moment there. I don't think he's quite ready enough yet. If they blow it off now and have him versus Gulak, I think that's going to hurt a lot of his momentum he has. He has storylines with the Lucha House Party right now. And he can also go and revisit that storyline with Garza after what we just saw tonight. So I would think that'd be the best idea. That'd be the best answer for him right now. So I'd want to see Lorcan, and I wouldn't want to see him and Humberto face each other because that would ruin that would stall his momentum too. You want to have him on a hot streak and on a winning streak right now, build up more credibility. I think a loss to Lorcan would hurt him.
Okay, fair point. So, what would you grade this match /show basically out of 5?
I would say I would give it a 4 1/4. I thought it was a well done Survivor Series style match. I think they could have actually pulled this off at Survivor Series if they had done it. This would have been a well done match, but I know at Survivor Series they wouldn't have given them this much time. So
Oh,
for
absolutely.
this being the whole show, I think they did a really good job with the match and how it played out, and having Lorcan and Herberto. Because that was another thing I was worried about: who was going to pin Herberto. That's what I was. Another thing I was trying to figure out, like who's going to pin Gulak, who's going to pin Herberto. Because I figured they were going to have to take a pin or not, but they protected Herberto, they protected Gulak, and they made Lorcan look strong with the beating he took. So, and they set up 2 other storylines for next week. So, all in all, it was very impressive how they did it. It was really well done.
Yeah, I really don't got much complaints. Again, I thought it was a stellar match. It was basically Survivor Series came early, and it basically sold the show, and it set up next week's show. I was impressed overall, and I hope to see more of Angel Garza and Roberto Carrillo conflict. I hope to see more Isaiah Scott Swerve involved with the brand too. Honestly, I wish I got to see Isaiah Scott Swerve as Cedric Center before he left, but I digress. But with that, let's go ahead and talk about some simple stances. So I want to first talk about the one Brian Greatman brought to my attention, where we once again revisit the idea of 205 Live on the kickoff show. So apparently Ali was even asked about this, and he thinks, oh, think about this. Matches get like cut away and they get time cut off and stuff like that if they're on the main card. But with the cruiserweight be on the kickoff, you're reaching a larger audience because you're not just on the network; you're on all platforms, and they're given that extra time. Now I don't know if Ali has been watching the kickoff matches himself, but maybe he forgot the fact that okay, yeah, we're watching it on our platform, but we're also getting muted and overshadowed by pointless promos for matches I could care less about on the main card. And theoretically, I feel like Buddy Murphy versus Ali got more time than most kickoff matches have for the cruiserweights. I think the longest cruiserweight kickoff match was probably either the 4-way at Royal Rumble or the 3-way at Stomping Grounds. And primarily that was probably just because the fact it was an extra person because you were trying to showcase what all of them were capable of. And it's not like they're like 205 Live comes out every week on the and you never hear anything else about 205 Live from Raw or SmackDown Live, etc. So as far as Ali's answer goes to that, I think he's just playing the businessman, kind of like Tony Nese did. So as far as 205 Live, well respected on the kickoff show, I have mixed feelings about that, and I still say it belongs on the main card, especially when you look at the previews nowadays. And again, right now, all previews this year, I can think of one match that could replace on the main card with the Cruiserweight title. That wouldn't involve people falling asleep or chanting CM Punk or AEW. Especially if you let people know who these people are, or you put the people that people are aware of the most, like the man Kennedy Gulak, on the main card, but I digress. So, Chris, what is your thoughts on the whole idea of all these answers to the whole idea of cruiserweights on the kickoff? Is it better for them because they've reached a larger platform? And overall, do you believe that the cruiserweights are better left on the kickoff show?
Absolutely not, because of the fact if you leave them on the pre-show, like I said, you have issues like you had. You were there live at SummerSlam. You got to actually enjoy the whole match. Where people like me who was watching it on the network and had it freeze up, couldn't see anything, kept having to restart it. Then, or if you did get to see it, you got endless promos of what was going on for the main event of SummerSlam or any pay-per-view going on. It just ruins the momentum and it ruins the experience of watching the match and getting into it. Then it's like, all right, Dan, and here's example. I'll use example. Here's Nishi's going for the running knee. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the main event tonight of SummerSlam. We're going to see Billy Joe Bob. It gets repetitive, and it's old, and it gets repetitive. It's every freaking time. Now, if we were doing it the old school way back in the 90s where we were doing the free-for-all and the only was like 30 minutes and it was a free-for-all, you pretty much ran down the matches. And then with like 15 minutes to go, you had the cruiserweights in the opening match. You weren't getting interrupted. You've already announced what the card's going to be, and you did it that way. And you had the hot open then. I would accept that because that'd be a great way, a hot open to get the crowd going. You've already got the people there. And another thing, too, they shouldn't be performing in front of a half-empty crowd for a pay-per-view. They should have everybody seated down, seated, ready to go before they do it. When you're putting on matches, when you have half-empty, and it's not just the cruiserweights. They did a six-man tag years ago. I remember it was the Hardys were on one team and the Miz and I think his B team or his lackeys at the time were a part of the match too.
Yeah, I
and
remember this
they
complaining
had
about that too.
yeah, and they had
Full Barclays Center.
nobody there, and that's the problem we have there too. You're wanting to perform people. How you expect the people to get invested into the match when you don't even have half a crowd there?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, yeah, you're maybe impressing business partners, if that, but also, again, it's just barely in front of people, even less than on the SmackDown Live afterwards. Again, the time slot is the killer, but you're also not giving it enough representation. Adam Pearce and the Cruiserweight division do a great job every week with what they bring. Better than main event, for damn sure. And that show should
Mm-hmm.
have been years ago. I would have left superstars on versus that. And
Yeah.
honestly, done right, I feel like 205 Live could become the better superstar show, but that's just my thoughts. All right, so yeah, that's just my opening thoughts, courtesy of Brandon Grayman from hashtag 205 Match Facebook group, so thank you for that. So, Chris, what's on your mind tonight for Simple Stances? What do you want to talk about?
Okay. Here, I'm just coming up with something on a whim here, because so let's see here. We have Pac, that's formerly known as Neville, going. He's going to be facing Kenny Omega in AEW now. So now we've had the issue with him. He missed the match with Hangman Page and everything like that. And there's also been, I've heard the rumors and rumblings about him possibly wanting to come back to WWE here in the near future. Do you see the possibility of him coming back to WWE? And if so, would he go back to 205 Live, or would he try to go back on the main roster? Because that would seem like what his issue was. He couldn't, once he got put on 205 Live, he couldn't get past that to 205 Live to get back on the main roster again. He was such a great talent there. If he does come back, do you put him right back on 205 Live, since now you have more of the opportunity to break away from 205 Live, like Cedric Alexander, like Buddy Murphy, like Mustafa Ali, who's now been able to get past 205 Live and go onto the main roster? Whatever they're doing or not is two different things, but at least they're on the main roster. So what would you say to those feelings about that?
The whole reason that Neville left was because of creative differences and lack of respect for his matches he and Austin Aries had for the Cruiserweight title, especially at WrestleMania 33. Right now, because of where Neville stands and what he's done in the independent scene and what is ahead for him now with a brand new, unbeknown future, but seems to be more creative friendly, I would say no. I believe he should go and stay with AEW because I don't want 205 Live to rely so much on the past. I want them to rely on the future and the present. They have had great people since the inauguration of 205 Live stick with the brand since 2016, including Drew Gulak. And then you're bringing in some of these new faces from the NXT breakout tourney, like Angel Garza and Say Scott Swerve, that can carry this brand even further. The biggest thing that needs to happen on 205 Live is you need to build more people and a bigger roster. Don't just do these little one-offs. Don't just do these little meetups, okay, like you did with Tyler Bate and Roderick Strong, for example. Incorporate them more in the 205 Live mix because that title still exists. So if they did incorporate more people from NXT, from NXT UK, I feel like that's enough to develop 205 Live for the future. Because when they do those specials like Simply Competition, Worlds Collide, or go over to London, for example, you're given a much more well-respected show, even to the audience. Case in point, Scott Swerve, and maybe that was just because also it's close in his hometown, he and Gulak tore it up, and that was Swerve's debut. Now he's back, and this crowd got behind Swerve again. And NXT helped elevate the idea of Swerve. So if you mingle these people more with NXT, maybe they'll get more respected on 205 Live as well. But the bottom line is this. Don't go back to the past. Focus on the future. Never 205 Live. No. But that kind of does give me this thought because I've heard it, I've read it, I've seen it. It's clickbait, though. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just a simple man, and I believe in concrete facts and reality. Reality is this. Everyone has viewed 205 Live, except its creator, actually. I have yet to hear anything from Triple H. I even tweeted him that 205 Live is called a failed experiment. Have you ever wondered what a failed experiment is and what leads to it? Have you ever wondered when 205 Live went wrong? Was it ever right to begin with? It's like the Impact Wrestling. You get a sour start, and then you finally start to recover, but you're never treated the same again. And Impact Wrestling is like a bleep now in the wrestling industry because all you can see it on is Twitch, unless you know what the Pursuit channel is. So, as far as I'm concerned, as long as it's on the network, 205 Live matters. Simple as that. But I do say this. With NXT now going to a live time slot, 2 hours every week on the USA Network, and then you're getting the recorded repeat of it on the WWE Network the next day, Could this be what pushes 205 Live to a higher standing on WWE Network as the Wednesday show? What do you do with Wednesdays now with that 1 hour, okay? Because you're taking off that 1 hour prime television from the network. Do you put 205 Live there? Would that make it be better represented? Or is they just going to do what everyone thinks they're going to do? Can 205 Live and merge maybe the roster being the best scenario? So my stance is simply this. 205 Live, where does it go? Chris, what is your thoughts on the 205 Live brand? Do you think that it should maybe go to a 2-hour span on the WWE Network and go where NXT was, since NXT is going to be more mainstream driven now? Or do you think 205 Live should just be, and the roster should just merge with NXT? And if that does happen, and you prefer that, would you want the Cruiserweight title to come along with them?
That's a loaded question because I could see it from both scenarios. I can look at it from both sides. Do you give them a 2-hour show? I would love it because I'm a fan of 205 Live. I'm a fan of Cruiserweight Wrestling. However, does the majority of audience want to see that? That I don't know. Because like I said, you have the issues with a lot of the network people. And like I said, 205 Live does have the issue of being even cracking the top 10 list of the shows that are watched per week.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're trying to establish 205 Live and you want to put them on a big stage, if you merge them with NXT, bring the Cruiserweight title with them. Would it mean the end of 205 Live? Yeah, sadly, it probably would, but you would at least have a Cruiserweight division in NXT. Mm-hmm. Would it be aggravating to be if somebody was forced 205 Live toward the end? Yeah, sure. I mean, I would be upset with it, but at the same time, if it was able to get a showcase like on NXT and you put a 1 or 2 Cruiserweight matches on there and you have the Cruiserweight title, you could redeem it the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. And you could have another title for them to fight over and compete with. And you could have these interesting storylines where you have like Garza, and you have Swerve, who are part of NXT, and you have Kushida, and you have all these other people that could also go and challenge for the Cruiserweight title. You have a lot of people in NXT that are considered at that Cruiserweight level, 205 level. That would help as well. So it's one of those loaded questions. Would I love to see 205 Live go to 2 hours? As a fan, absolutely. Do I think it'd be the best business decision? That's not my decision. That's for the WWE to figure that out. But for me, I would love to see it on the network. But if it goes to NXT and merges, I think that would be a good idea too. So it's one of those I'm torn. It's one of those, it's not easy. It's not as simple as yes and no on that one.
Yeah, and my bottom line, because we've discussed it, we've analyzed it, we've booked it, we've fantasy thought about it for several weeks. Everyone, including TJS, you, Sydney, we've all think the same thing. The best thing for 205 Live is the first, move to Full Sail. Stick to a single concrete location with a dedicated fan base that remembers the great action you bring, backed up by, of course, the incredible commentary team you do have now, but also enhanced by Mauro Ranallo. And then just somehow merge the Cruiserweight title into the NXT picture. I mean, I know it sounds weird having 2 mid-card level titles, you can call it that. I like to think 2 different classes of titles, because you got the top-tier heavyweight title, the NXT Championship, and you got the North American Championship representing wrestling across North America. That's basically what it is. And then you have the Cruiserweight title representing a different class of wrestling and wrestlers. But maybe that can be pushed to elevate somebody, like an option C, to the NXT title. Bottom line, my best scenario and my proposed idea is this. The 205 Live brand should end based on all the wrestling we're getting now, and WWE adding an extra hour to their weekly media lineup. I would have to say bring 205 Live roster into NXT and bring the title with it. Because that does give the people that are used to that title something to still go for, and you don't necessarily have to randomly insert people into another picture. Because right now, it feels weird to put in, I don't know, Jack Gallagher against Velveteen Dream out of the blue. Okay? You got to be smart with your booking here, and that's where it hurts. It hurts from booking and creative direction and outlook. It's not so much a failed experiment to me. It was just poorly executed because you're doing it to an audience that is unaware of these people or are burnt out from 2 hours of SmackDown Live than necessarily have it sucked ass because you got Shane McMahon overshadowing everybody. Shane McMahon, you fucking suck. But I will say this, Buddy Murphy, I digress. Buddy Murphy, you've been owning the week. If Vince Russo wrote that ending with the freaking Rowan twin that was like Luke Harper and makeup, maybe, I don't fucking know. But anyway, I digress. 205 Live, you have to end. Merge with NXT, bring the title with you. Simple as that. What do you think, folks? Leave us your thoughts in the comments down below. And again, as long as I see that brand on my WWE Network schedule every week and I don't hear anything about the official cancellation, it will matter, and so will this series continue every week. Simple as that. It's just my adjust schedule because I go to college in 2 days. With that, let's go ahead and close this simple edition tonight with, of course, our next on our list. As you all know who's been following, we've been, of course, giving you our top 25 cruiserweight matches from the 205 Live brand of all time since its first episode. Of course, I've been watching since episode 1, and I've stuck to my list since even ignoring that list from the episode point. I'm sure you've made changes, and I respect that. So I think right now we're on number 20 or 19. I lost count.
We're on 19.
Thank you. So with that, I'm just going to go and tell you right now, I'm still in that freaking cruiserweight single-man elimination tournament, and I'm going with the guy that was billing himself to win it all, but you can't argue this man's heart. I went with Drew Gulak versus Mustafa Ali. Before the match, they even tried to get Drake Maverick's opinion. He didn't want to give like a favoritism opinion. He just said, let's sit back and get ready for a true classic. And it was that because that freaking match went for nearly 30 minutes. It was semifinals between Drew Gulak and Mustafa Ali. Basically, the winner of this was going to advance on to face the other winner of the semifinals that we found out later at WrestleMania for the title. Both men brought it. Mustafa Ali, he sold like a pro, getting thrown into the ring post, thrown into the ropes, even basically almost falling to a Gulak. But in the end, Mustafa Ali put out the 0-5-4 and won. And you know what? Once again, Gulak proves why he's worthy of being the main event. And I was thoroughly impressed. It was more and more the idea of, I remember Mustafa Ali's first match, and that's what he constantly brings, but I never thought, okay, can I take him as the number one contender, per se? This proved it to me. So with that, my match for number 19 is from, let me get my date right, March 20th, 2018. I use the notes app on my iPhone. Mustafa Ali versus Drew Gulak, single-man elimination tournament, cruiserweight title number one contendership, semifinal match. All right. And I'm pretty sure that was somewhere on your list, too. So, anyway, I know we're going to conflict at some point and repeat our matches. I don't think we'll ever, be in the same spot. But anyway, Chris, what is your number 19 on your list?
Noam Dar versus Rick Swann for May 30th, 2017. The reason I picked this match was I found it very entertaining. Now, you got to understand the storyline going to, so I'll give a brief explanation. So, the day before was on Raw when the Cruiserweights were part of the Raw brand as well. They had a match. You had Alicia Fox, who had just left. I think it was, if you got to correct me wrong, but I believe she left Cedric Alexander to go to Noam Dar.
Correct.
And so they had that storyline intertwining. Rick Swann had been trying to build himself up, so he had Sasha Banks in his corner to counteract Alicia Fox. So I thought it was very interesting. So that night on Raw, Rick Swann was able to pick up the victory. It was a pretty good match. Okay, so then they had the rematch the next night on 205 Live. I thought the match was very entertaining. I thought it was well done. These two men could go at it. I miss Rick Swann on 205 Live. I'm glad he's doing great on Impact, though. He's, like I said, he's been tearing it up there. Like I said, I thought it was a very entertaining match, and I liked the storytelling with it, where you had Alicia Fox was trying to keep getting involved, and she ended up this time being able to get involved and costing Rick Swann the match because Sasha Banks couldn't get there in time to bail him out, and she ended up costing Rick Swann the match. So I thought from a storytelling-wise, it might be a silly match. People might go, why'd you put this match? But from a storytelling-wise, I'm big on storytelling a lot of times. This was a very entertaining match. I couldn't leave it off my list. It was one of those, if you want some entertaining action and then seeing storylines, that's one you could watch.
Not a bad choice. I think I was actually pretty close to that one at one of my points. I just went with the whole end of that storyline with the I Quit match. I'll be curious to see if that's on your list. But with that, folks, that concludes this week's episode of 205 Live Matters. It was simple, it was shorter, and it was too sweet, as always, because as you all know, if you haven't heard from me by now or follow my channel, I am going back to college, so of course, expect shorter renditions of this show and an adjusted schedule to hopefully incorporate more of the NXT team. One of these weeks, who knows, I might not even be on it. I might have my friend here lead it with someone else from the 205 Live crew. You never know. But again, stay tuned for this as always. Every week, some point after 205 Live, as long as 205 Live exists on the WWE Network. With that, we are done here for tonight. So, of course, Chris, a pleasure as always, sir. Where can people find anything you want to plug?
You can actually find me on Twitter once I learn how to work Twitter right. I'm still playing with Twitter, so bear with me, y'all. But you can find me on Christopher Mace. You'll see my profile picture on there. You can just follow me if you want to. I share everything the NX team does and ODQ does. Support Colin Andrew with a chopping block. He does a really good job. Support Cindy G. Like I said, my thoughts and prayers go out to her. She's gone through a lot right now. She's one of the nicest people you ever talk to. I've had the pleasure of getting to work with her and talk to her on a personal level, and I thought she's a very amazing person. Very proud of her for going through and overcoming everything she's going through. So our thoughts and prayers are with you right now. Hope to see you back soon, Cindy G. Support Good Brother Chris, the AEW Nation. They're at almost 14,000 now. If I'm off by 1,000, Good Brother Chris, forgive me. It's all right. But Sports Stephen and Jerry, Aftermatch Wrestling, they hit 100 subscribers, so now they're going to start doing What's NXT Live, so that's going to be awesome to see how that goes. And let's get them to 1,000 so we can do the Tea Party Lives. I'd be awesome as well. So, and support James and Owen, all the hard work they do. And like I said, I'm not going to plug Noah stuff. I got to work on not plugging everybody else's stuff when I'm on the show. So there you go. It's your turn now, Noah.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Well, always a pleasure, sir, and shout out to everybody in Team NDQ, the Tulip LA crew, and NX team, and of course, Team NoDQ as always. But with that, folks, if you want to know more about me, know this. I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of wrestling. So if you want to follow me and talk anything wrestling, you can look me up on Twitter, nodq.com/Noah takes you to my Twitter page, or youtube.com/Noah, I believe, should take you to my YouTube page, or is it youtube.com/user/Noah Fox210. I don't get what URLs are anymore. They always seem to change. Anyway, yeah, I'm heading back to college, so of course my personal channel will be a lot lighter, but of course expect this every week. At its heart, hashtag Tulip matters. But if you want to see more wrestling content, reviews, recaps, simple takes, picks, predictions on all things wrestling, WWE and beyond, AEW, Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and more, support independent wrestling, folks, follow my Silver YouTube channel. Stay tuned because before my summer wrestling ends, we do have a lot of content coming up this next Saturday, including NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff. So stay tuned for me, Chris, and the rest of the NXT team doing predictions on that. It is sure to be one incredible night, and I will hold on to my title. For if you all don't know, me and the Archangel James Hubert, we won this back at NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool. There has not been another UK TakeOver since. So now I'm bringing the title back out, and I'm challenging Jerry for his US NXT title, where I will once again be Noah 2 belts. But good luck.
Uh-oh.
Imperium! And don't worry, folks, that music is public domain, so no copyright strike. Anyway, besides all that, also stay tuned, of course, on my civil YouTube channel for predictions on New Japan Pro Wrestling Brawl Quest, as well as predictions with Team ADQ on AEW All Out. And Saturday, of course, time recording when you watch this, basically Saturday, August 31st, when my summer wrestling really ends, I will be live scoring, live reacting, and taking all of your questions and answers. Anything you want to ask me, come join the fun, share, let people know. I will answer any question you ask me, wrestling or non-wrestling, right here on YouTube, as I will be live scoring, reacting to both NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff and AEW All Out, because I figured at New Japan Pro Wrestling World Class, most people will be asleep. So stay tuned for that.
Not me, we'll be watching it.
Well, I'm going to be watching it live regardless. Saturday's going to be like
too.
Sleep. My crowns are still bugging the hell out of me. And
that's all right.
Support NoDQ. Another reason I'm in YouTube. Look at that shirt. NoDQ.com/shirts. Go buy yourself some merchandise, a hat, a tapestry. Maybe they'll do beach towel, beach balls one day. Who knows? I hope they do beanies in time for winter because Toledo's a winter-based city. Aaron, beanies. NoDQ beanies. Give me what I want. Bring them back. Buy a pen. And also, of course, more stuff beyond that. I have a shirt. Stephen has a shirt. Cindy has a shirt. Most of you know the Q favorite personalities have a shirt. Follow NoDQ on all your social media platforms. Your opinions matter, and so does your wrestling input. Go challenge Virtue. Go make a friend. Go make an enemy in the official NoDQ website. It's a comment section of everything. Polls, columns, memes, gifts, reviews, sexy female pics. You name it, it's there. It's wrestling. Primarily WWE with the invasion of AEW. And as always, I'd like to close. Support your wrestling outlets, both big and small, and let's keep growing this incredible, diverse wrestling community together. Simple as that. But with that, Thank you all, of course, for tuning in as always. Like, share, subscribe, comment, hit that bell, dislike. I dare you. I don't care. I eat controversy for breakfast. It drives me, and I will never doing this and believe it in my stance. I just appreciate all the feedback and input I do get, especially from those that comment every week. But anyway, like I said, you hit that button, hit that bell, let you know when the next video is going to be up on this channel, and of course, Aaron Riff's NoDQ.com channel, of course, as well. Stay tuned because shortly I got to get ready, as well as he does, for NXT TakeOver Cardiff predictions, and then get ready for church in the morning and first day of classes on Monday. So with that, until the next video, enjoy life, enjoy wrestling. Good luck to all you out there pursuing education or a better job. Congrats to TJS on your A+ certification. And until the next video, whether here on Aaron Riff's channel or my personal YouTube channel, I hope you all have a good night.
All right, have a good night, y'all.
And as always, and I will say it until the cows come home, fairly speaking, whether you hate me for it or not, 205 Live matters.
Always.
Simple as that. Bye, everybody.